Well, good afternoon and welcome back to another Cooking with Ron video. Okay, today I have a special treat for y'all. I'm going to show you how I make my chili Ron style. So stay tuned. So first, let's go over the ingredients that we're going to need, okay? In the can department at your store, and this is how I make it, I get 1 can of Hunt's petite diced tomatoes, and I don't drain those. I put those in just like that. I usually get a can of Great Northern beans. Okay, these are the bushes. And then sometimes I get a can of light red kidney beans, and sometimes I don't. This time I'm going to add them to the mix. And then we have 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, okay? In addition to that, okay, my meat out of the refrigerator. In addition to that, we're gonna have 1 pound of market side grain-fed beef, 80/20, okay? And you can have 2 pounds of that if you like. I'm gonna do 1 pound of that and 1 pound of Jimmy Dean's regular pork sausage, okay? So the first, and this is all a 1 pan meal, okay? 1 pot, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our pot out. So you want this is a 8-quart cooking pot. That's what I like to cook my chili in. And we're going to add just a little bit of olive oil to the bottom, put that on medium heat, and we're going to brown our meat inside of there, okay? And we just put a little bit of olive oil in there. The meat will make its own, okay? And we're going to do that. One more ingredient, you're going to need some chili mix, okay? Now these are the Great Value chili mix, and we don't normally put a whole package in the mix. And these two have been opened. So what we're going to do is combine these two in a Ziploc bag because we have just a little bit of each one, okay? And one of them is mild chili and one of them just chili, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour those into a Ziploc bag, okay? I'm going to do this over the sink in case I spill it. It's not all over the floor. Whenever you're doing stuff like this, it's probably best to do it over the sink. When I make my mashed potatoes, I do it over the sink. Okay, that way if anything spills out, it's not falling on the floor, okay? So I put the 2 of them in there, and we're just gonna shake them up. I don't see any difference in them really. They look about the same. Okay, the pan is getting hot. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add my meat to the hot oil. And I'm gonna add both pounds. That's 1 pound of ground beef. And for me, I like 1 pound of sausage. You can have 2 pounds of ground beef if you like. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take a pair of scissors and open this package of hamburger. And if you watch the channel regularly, you've seen my Walmart shopping trips. And I've talked about this market side grain grass-fed beef before. It does taste better, okay, than the regular ground beef, and we just kind of like it better. Get that in there. We're just gonna go ahead and add the sausage right in there. Now these are my regular kitchen scissors that I'm using. I think adding the sausage, to it gives it a different flavor, okay? It's up to you though, if you don't want sausage in yours. We'll turn on the exhaust fan. Now, my exhaust fan goes to the outside of the house. We remodeled the kitchen a long time ago. When we did, I went ahead and put the vent up through the cabinet all the way up to the roof, okay? I couldn't understand why you would have a range hood, except to get the grease out of there, a range hood that would not vent to the outside. But I know some people have those. I used to have those till I vented it outside. Anyways, we're going to add a little bit more oil to this because it's a little dry. So So we're gonna cook that off. A can opener. You just brown that meat off, let it. Now my wife, she likes to make what she calls chili mac, okay? And I'll tell you where that term came from, at Steak and Shake, okay? If you ever eaten at Steak and Shake back in the day, and maybe even today, they got something that they call chili mac. And what it is you just make some spaghetti noodles, and we use thin spaghetti, okay? And put your chili over top of the noodles, okay? Chili mac. Me, I don't really care for that too much. Turn that heat up just a little bit. And as you can see, the ground beef's doing really well, and the pork, sausage. Now you can use sausage if you want. If you do use sausage and you want a little bit more bite to it, well, you can go ahead and get, you know, the spicier sausage to add a bite to it. I just get regular sausage. Did I open those beans? Yeah, I did. You may choose to add some things to it that I don't add to it. I know some people might add a little garlic to it, maybe chop up some onions and put in it. I don't like all that stuff in my chili. So there's my tomato sauce and my petite diced tomatoes. Keep stirring this up. You know, get the sausage and the beef mixed together. So I use a strainer. It's like a double strainer. It's got a catch basing to it. You don't want all that grease going down the sink. And I'm going to drain the meat off in this, okay? This is really easy to make. It doesn't take very long, maybe about 30-45 minutes. You just gotta have to plan for it, you know. It's already smelling good. I'm gonna add a little salt and pepper to that, okay? There it is. So I said, where's the salt at? Ron's chili. Turn that heat up just a little bit more. Now what I'll do is I'll make this chili, okay, and show after it cooks for a while. You want to simmer it for a while to get the flavors all built into the meat and everything from the beans and the tomatoes and the tomato sauce and all that. She'll come in and either I will or she will. We'll make a separate pot of pasta, okay, the thin spaghetti. Let me go get that right now. Here's the spaghetti. We get the Mueller's thin spaghetti, pot size they call it. It's already broken half. We'll make that in a separate pot. I'm not too sure we'll make the whole pound. We'll see. She likes that thinner spaghetti versus the thicker spaghetti. I'll tell you a little story. We went to Olive Garden when we were down in Florida on vacation, and we both got some kind of linguine dish. And we really, after we got it, we really wished we had told them that we didn't want linguine noodles, that we wanted thin spaghetti. We don't like the thick spaghetti noodles, the fettuccines and all that. I think the meat's just about done, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it over here and I'm gonna strain it off. Okay, we're gonna take the meat off of the heat. That rhymes, don't it? And we're gonna strain it off. Let me get that a little bit closer. Remember what I said, I do everything in the sink, okay? My glasses are fogging up. Drain off just for a minute. I'm gonna cut the heat back on the stove to medium. So I'm gonna put that back on the burner, and as you can see, all the grease that I got out of that. Okay, now what we're gonna do I'm gonna add the tomatoes, and then I'm gonna use the can from the tomatoes to put the grease in. Okay, kind of dual purpose on the can. Okay, and we'll go ahead and put the tomato sauce in. And I'm gonna add the can of Great Northern beans, the light red kidney beans. That can I'm not gonna strain because I do need the fluid off of that liquid. And where did my spoon go? Oh, it's in the sink. We're gonna stir this around, okay? And we're gonna have to add a little water to this. All right, so I'm gonna start off with 1 cup of water, okay? You might have to end up putting more than that in there, but we're gonna start out with 1 cup. So we didn't drain the 1 can of beans. We're using 1 can of water. 1 cup of water, I'm sorry. And then we're gonna add the seasoning, okay? Now I'm gonna start off with about half of this, okay? I have a feeling we'll probably use more than that because this is 2 pounds, okay? Keep that other half right there. I'm gonna stir that really good, turn up the heat a little bit. Now what you can do is you can let this simmer for a while, okay? Maybe, 20, 30 minutes, and then come back and taste it to see if it's got enough spices in it to your liking, okay? We don't like to use the whole package. As you say, I kept about half of it. So we normally don't put the whole package in there. We're kind of like that. Even with most of our other recipes, we don't put the whole package of spices in there. But your mileage may vary, okay? Don't go by what I say. Now, another thing I like to make to go along with my chili, personally me, I like to make some biscuits. And I did buy some whack biscuits, and I believe I'm gonna make those, okay? Let me get those out of the refrigerator real quick. They're in here somewhere. If you was with me at the store the other day, I have a Walmart video coming out. I bought these biscuits right here. These are the Grands butter tasting. These are the Southern home style. If you buy the Southern home style, they're not the flaky kind. They're more like a regular biscuit, okay? And this one here calls for a 350 on a nonstick pan oven. So let's go ahead and fire up the oven to 350, and in just a minute we're gonna make these, okay? I call them whack biscuits because you undo the paper and you whack them on the counter. That's why we call them whack biscuits. I had a previous video that I did. I can't remember which one. It was one of my cooking videos. I think it was the beef stew. And there was a gentleman that made a comment on there that said it would be nice if I had made that one time before I did the video. And I watched the video. I get it, okay? Sometimes I talk fast or I don't talk enough or whatever it might be. I have made this chili many a times, okay? Another thing that's good to make with your chili, if you don't want to use biscuits, is to make cornbread, okay? And have you some cornbread with it. But anyways, as you can see, it's starting to steam up here quite a bit. That's almost the right consistency, okay, for what I need. And you can see that on the video, okay. Of course, that's going to cook down for a while. So to reiterate with the liquids, I put 1 cup of water in there, and I left the fluid for the light red kidney beans on the beans, but I did drain the Great Northern beans, okay. There was 1 can, 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, and there was 1 15-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes, okay. And those are unflavored tomatoes. You can buy, I think you can buy flavored tomatoes. And that's, again, that's your choice if you want that kind of stuff. This is just the way I make it, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and get the pan ready and the water ready for my wife's noodles. Yeah, I better get this water for the spaghetti noodles boiling, because things boil slower on my stove than other people's stove. The boss lady's coming in with boss lady coming in with some instructions. As you can see, the chili is now heated up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it down to a simmer, okay? And I'm going to put a lid on it, okay, for now. Okay, we're going to get the biscuits ready to put in the oven. Like I said, you can make cornbread if you want to. Sometimes I do that. But this time I decided I wanted biscuits. So. Okay. I think I've done this before. And when it popped open, it like that. It startled me. Okay. Anyways, we're going to lay these on the pan. There's 8 of them in here. This is a little bit of a smaller pan, so I'm going to have to kind of like do them like that. Spread them out just a little bit. Now the package says 350 for 12 to 16 minutes, okay? So just as soon as the oven preheats, we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna put a little salt in the water over here. I put just a touch of olive oil in my noodle oil of my water because I think it helps keep the spaghetti noodles from sticking together. You don't want me to cook this whole pound of spaghetti, do you? She said just to cook half of it. No, I'm not going to. I'm just going to cook a half a pound of the spaghetti for her because I'm not eating any of it, so we're not going to put the whole bit in there. The oven is preheated, okay? We're going to slide the biscuits into the oven. It's at 350. We're going to put the timer on for, I'm going to put it on for 15 minutes, okay? And then we'll check them to make sure. I'm going to go ahead and taste this chili mix and see how it tastes. If we need a little more chili mix in there, spices or not. It was hot. I'll let that cool down just for a second. I want to burn my tongue. I think it's perfect. Okay. So we only used about, for that 2 pounds of meat, probably about a little more than half of a package of chili mix. Again, your mileage may vary. You may like it more chillier, more spicier than we do. But to me, that's just about perfect, okay? We're still waiting for this water to boil. Like I said earlier, water seems to boil slower in my house for some reason. Now for 2 of us, this is a pretty economical meal, okay? When you get down to it, the most expensive part was the meat. There's probably about $8 worth of meat in there with the hamburger and the sausage. The half a pound of spaghetti noodles, you know, probably about 70 cents because I think it's $1.20 something for a pound. Then you got the 4 cans, you got the petite diced tomatoes, the tomato sauce, and the 2 different types of beans. So let's just call those like, I don't know, $4 or $5. So all total, you know, you probably got about $13 in this meal. And the biscuits were, I think, about $2.50. So you got about $14, maybe $15 in this meal. But we're going to eat on this for at least 2 days, okay? So you take $15, let's say, and divide that by 4, which would be 2 days of meals for 2 people. You're doing pretty good. You're under $5 a piece, okay? You can't go out to eat for that these days. You can't even go to McDonald's and get a hamburger for $5. Okay, the water, let me show you. The water is finally boiling. It took almost 10 minutes to get this pot of water to boil. But what we're going to do now is we're going to put the spaghetti in there. And the instructions for the spaghetti say cook 8 to 9 minutes to to al dente, I guess they call it. I don't know what they call it. Anyways, we're just going to get half of this package out. I'm going to hold my hand over the box like this and let half of, oops, that's about half, okay. And I've got a device here, if I can find it. Oh, it's over here. Now we got to let that water come to a boil again. So we got about 3.5 minutes on the biscuits, and then we'll have another 5 minutes. I'm gonna set my watch timer. Another 5 minutes for the spaghetti. Okay. We'll start that timer for the spaghetti now. If you get the pot-sized spaghetti, okay, then you don't have to break it in half like most people do. And like I said when I started this when I started this water to boiling, I always add a little bit of olive oil in there, which I think helps keep the spaghetti from sticking. A lot of people say it sticks because you don't have enough water in there, okay? So let's look at this chili here, boy. It's looking really good. Okay, I've already taste tested it, so I know it tastes good. And we've just had that on simmer. That sounded like thunder. So the biscuits are almost finished, but I'm having a peek at them, and I think they can go a little bit longer. So I'm going to increase the time on the timer about another 3 minutes when it goes off. Okay, we're looking at the noodles now. They're about 4 minutes in, and the water's boiling really good now. Okay, and I like to stir them every once in a while so they don't stick together. Now this is a smaller saucepan, well, a smaller pan. You know, you can get away with cooking half a package in there, but if you're going to cook the whole package, you want to use a bigger pan so the noodles don't stick together. That's what I hear the biggest problem with noodles sticking together is you don't have enough water in your pan. Okay, we are about to take the biscuits out of the oven. I cooked them for 18 minutes, even though the package said 14 to 16 minutes. At 350, I just went ahead and made it 18 minutes. And they're looking a lot better. Let me jerk them out of the oven here. As you can see, they look really good. And we want to make sure they're not burnt on the bottom. That's the important thing, is do not burn your biscuits on the bottom. So these here are just about perfect, okay? They're hot too. As you can see, the noodles are just about finished. And the chili is done. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Give it a quick stir, okay, just to make sure that it's all stirred up really good. Now, since I've retired, okay, we've been eating supper a little bit earlier, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We found that we just like to do that better. Some days we can't get it done. Sometimes we're back to 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So today is a 2 o'clock supper. We did not have lunch. This is going to be our supper lunch. And that is just about 9 minutes, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. And what we're gonna do now is we're going to strain that in the strainer in the sink, okay? So I'm gonna get a bigger colander to strain that with, okay? Get all the noodles out of there. And just a little bit of butter on it, just a little bit, okay? And that's going to help keep it from sticking together once it dries, okay? We'll let that sit there for a minute. Honey, we're ready to eat. What I like to do is put a dish towel in my bowl for my biscuits to keep them warm, like that. And we're gonna put we'll put about 3 of them in there, maybe 4. I don't know if she'll want one or not. Okay, we'll put those on the table. Hey, we're ready to eat. What do you want to drink?
Ready?
Yeah, it's ready. She said, "Is dinner ready?" Okay. So let me take you over here real quick to the stove, and she is probably going to do something different with her chili mac. I'm not sure what that'll be, but I'm going to dish me out a bowl. Okay. While we're dishing, so I'm going to dish me out a bowl of chili here. Okay. It's pretty hot, so we want to let that cool down a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is put the butter on the table. Look at that. Don't that look good? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said it better be off. So there's my bowl of chili. Okay. I need the butter and a spoon. And then I'm going to get some shredded cheese. You want shredded cheese? You don't want shredded cheese, do you? You do? On your chili mac?
Sure.
Oh. Okay. Well, here. Open it up.
Didn't we have one open?
I used it this morning. I like to put a little sour cream on the table, okay, to add to mine, and a little cheese, a little shredded cheese, okay. What? I can't see you. Okay, that is my video for cooking chili. Hope you enjoyed that. And if you need some information about the recipe, let me have that milk, honey. She will not be on camera. Leave me a comment in below, okay? And there's more videos on here. I think I got 3 or 4 other cooking videos. They're all in a playlist called Ron, or Cooking with Ron, I think is what it is. Anyways, thanks for being here today, and I really appreciate all of you, and we will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.